Hey guys, Travis Pastrana here from Nitro Circus, and I throw double backflips for a living, and this is how I do it. To be a professional extreme sports athlete, you have to be willing to make decisions that most people aren't willing to make. And what I mean by that is when you have adrenaline and you're upside down, you have a 250-pound motorcycle on top of you, and you have to make a decision to jump off, which means best case scenario, you're probably gonna break an ankle or a wrist, but if you stay on, you're gonna break a neck or worse. Most people can't make that conscious decision when they know any outcome's still gonna hurt. And you have to be able to say, you know what, this is gonna hurt less, and be able to figure out how to fall the best or figure out what's gonna hurt least. At this moment right here, you're looking at what looks to be a vertical wall. It's 37 feet tall, 82 degrees steep. And I'm trying to get as much speed as possible because the more speed you have, the more height you get. The more height you have, the more time you have. I'm going to think about the next part at the next time. There's no time in action sports to have second thoughts when you're on a run-up. You can't think, maybe I'm going to do this or maybe I'm not. Every decision that you make, if you want to live in these sports, is done beforehand. Now, I'm not saying you always say yes. There's so much stuff that I say no to. But once you say yes, once you commit, you have to do everything you can, no matter how bad it's going, no matter how out of whack you are. You have to know where you are. You have to be able to understand your dilemma, and you have to be able to work through it, because once you're up to take off of the ramp, any hesitation means you're broken at best. This was actually supposed to be a triple backflip here. I actually got knocked out in that exact picture right there because I fixated on the landing. Then I decided not to do 3, but I'd already over-rotated 2. So when the bike lands first, the bag kicks up. So the bag now has inertia. And when you land, then your head goes back and the bag comes up. It's a really bad thing. You want to land on airbags first before the bike. That was I wonder if I have enough speed, let me check. Well, I might have had enough speed, but now that I checked, this is going to suck. When I was 4 years old and got literally this high off the ground, I thought it was the biggest, gnarliest thing that's ever been done to mankind. It was the biggest rush. That little drop, I could feel, my stomach just come up, and your heart felt like it was in your throat. That feeling doesn't change. The amount of time you have in the air changes. It's no different now for me jumping a 200-foot jump than it was when I was 5 jumping a 2-foot jump. So I feel like you can get that experience and that rush when right now I have to go bigger to get the same feeling that I did when I was a kid. Where most people are exhilarated by a roller coaster, I think it's hooked to tracks. What could possibly go wrong? This is boring. When most people feel like they're in the air and they're out of control, I feel like this is where I belong. So it's not that I'm fearless or crazy per se. It's just that I feel like I've practiced and I like to be in a place that other people aren't very comfortable. I lost track of injuries a long time ago, but it gets really confusing because say at X Games 2011, I went up on a trick, backflip 360, missed it, landed onto the bike. I had 40 fractures over 7 bones, but it's 1 injury. So is that like 1, 7, or 40? It gets really confusing. Same thing with hip, pelvis. Shattered my pelvis into 20 places. But it's just 1 technical bone. It's 2 bones technically, but anyway. So 32 operations over 32 years. First operation, I was 11 years old. So my goal is to, at the end of this year, have more years under my belt than operations. I think it's an attainable goal. It's feasible, and I'm going for it. This is actually a really wild moment because it was the first time that I was ever trying the double backflip full twist. The problem was when I lost the bike, I got flung sideways. So right there, I was checking. Okay, am I still gonna hit the bag? I made the decision that yes, I was gonna hit the bag. And then if you fast forward that clip just a little bit, you'll notice I look over at the camera, find the camera, and give it a thumbs up. I'm like, I'm gonna live, guys, we're good. If you have confidence in what you're doing, you're gonna be okay. And at the end of the day, confidence comes through practice. If you take out all the variables, if you don't take them out, but you know what the variables are, you're less afraid. When you're in the air and you don't know what to do, you don't know how you got there, and you don't know how to fix it, that's bad. Everyone asks, why would you do this? Why would you risk injury? And I have a really simple explanation. It's when I was hurt the most that I could ever be hurt, I passed out, and I woke up and I passed out. I bled 2/3 of my blood volume and almost died. And at that moment, even there, lying there, getting a blood transfusion, not sure exactly what's wrong, not being able to move my legs, all I could think about was, man, I hope I get better so I can try that again. And that might be crazy, it might be stupid, but I would never stop doing something because I'm afraid to get injured when even when I'm injured in the most pain that I've ever been in, the most disappointed that I wasn't that I was hurt, but that I wasn't able to do what I love. This was an interesting thing because it's the only time I've ever done something to an airbag landing that I was really proud of. Usually it's like, okay, now I have to do it to a real landing, and it's usually a really scary moment. But for me, I wanted to prove something was possible. Everyone said a double backflip is the biggest trick that's ever going to be done. So that day, I went out and did the biggest trick that was done in a backflip and did it in a double backflip. And for me, it was a pretty cool moment because it wasn't just doing a trick, it was proving the world that the limits that we set are only ones that we imagine. Everything is attainable, everything is breakable, and later that week, Josh Sheehan landed a triple backflip and made that seem silly and small. So it's just cool to me to see the progression, and the kid's mind is free, but usually as we become adults, there are a lot of boundaries set, and my goal is to never grow up.